But maybe there's another side of the story, a side the media doesn't talk much about because the headlines just aren't as sensational as death and destruction. A side our troops on the ground see every day with their eyes and every night in their dreams, but that you probably don't even know exists.
Round, sometimes for days, waiting to be attacked.
We do our jobs. We do it without hesitation. We do what we're trained to do. People think we're goddamn machines and robots. We're really not. We're not cutthroat killers. We're doing our jobs.
You can just see the happiness. You can't see the tears. It's true, 'cause you're living in your tender years. Tender years.
The airborne are supposed to be training the Iraqi army, the IA, to take over the nation's security. Some of the Americans are unconvinced.
I don't think this country will ever be ready to pick U.S. forces to lead it. Too lazy.
One US soldier talks to an Iraqi counterpart about what's supposed to be their joint mission, and the Iraqi says they were better off under Saddam.
Even the poor man can't afford cooking gas these days.
You have fuel, you have gas, you have power, but so you're just for those two things you're willing to give up your freedom of life?
Yes, of course I would. These things are the basic essentials of living.
The tension between the Americans and their Iraqi colleagues is never far away.
What lieutenant? Their lieutenant?
Yeah.
Tell their lieutenant to come over here.
No, I told them.
An Iraqi officer has been heard over the radio telling his men not to shoot at the insurgents.
Shoot the American forces. I'll shoot him in the ass.
Hawija and the Americans are on the warpath. They go into the offices of the local town council. A grenade's just been thrown from here into the next door compound,
That's where it came over.
which happens to be the supposed heart of US Iraqi operations, the Joint Command Center. Council officials, town elders and passers-by are all herded into the noonday sun to be questioned.
And you guys are just going to sit there.
It's another exercise which turns out fruitless for the Americans and humiliating for the Iraqis.
Are you afraid? Anybody afraid out here? You afraid? Are you afraid, young man?
After a couple of hours, they're released and return to their daily lives, hearts and minds that much further out of reach. A few days later, and the Americans have again come under attack. They go into a small industrial estate which seems to have been the source of the gunfire, but it's too late. Eventually they find 4 Iraqi policemen, IPs, who say they've seen nothing. The Americans aren't impressed.
RPG every single day. AK fire every single day. Sniper fire. If I get shot at from this position, you, and you, I'm coming to look for you.
After 3 full years of marriage, it's the first time that you haven't made the bed.
24 hours on, and the marriage between the Americans and the Iraqis looks headed for the rocks.
There's so little left to say, we haven't said.
Things have got so bad in Hawija, the Americans are raiding the offices of the Iraqi army, their allies, the people they're training, in President Bush's phrase, to stand up so they can stand down. A hand grenade's been thrown at one of the armoured trucks from inside the secure zone, inside the Joint Command Centre. The insurgents, the terrorists, appear to be the soldiers of the new Iraqi army.
Americans 1, Top Fury 0.
He says 1 for America, 0 for the terrorists. But if this is what victory looks like, it's hollow indeed.
It's been a good year for the roses.
And that is the real story.